I'm curious, shifting gears just a little bit. When you first sat down, the majority was asking you questions that seemingly were tied into the general duties of a prosecutor. And your resume has been laid out. It is interesting, or at least it was interesting to me to hear the majority characterize who should be prosecuted under the current circumstances. I'm not sure if you followed along, but are you aware that under this DOJ, they have indicted Tish James as well as they ultimately indicted James Comey? Are you aware of that?
I am.
And are you also aware of the fact that this DOJ has consistently dismissed members of the DOJ for refusing to bring forth indictments that they don't believe have merit?
Yes.
The majority was asking you about why it is that you characterize your belief that there was guilt as it relates to the indictment that you sought. As a trained prosecutor, typically, are you supposed to go after people that you don't believe are actually guilty?
I'm trying to. There's a couple of negatives in that question.
I know.
Yeah.
They were trying
You're
to.
not supposed to go after people who you believe are not guilty.
Okay, thank you. In your experience of 3 decades, have you ever needed to seek the same indictment 3 times while being rejected?
Never.
Okay, I think that's all I have for that.
Have you ever prosecuted someone that you did not believe was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt?
Never.
As we hit, I know we're getting close to the end of our time. I want to hit on a few questions. And I apologize if they come off as very obvious to you with your experience and the way that you conducted yourself with the Department of Justice. Did Attorney General Garland or other DOJ officials direct investigative steps within your office of the Special Counsel?
No.
Did Attorney General Garland or other DOJ officials direct litigation decisions within your office?
No.
Did you experience Attorney General Garland or other DOJ officials interfering with your ability to conduct this investigation?
No.
Did President Biden ever give you any instructions about what you should or should not do related to these investigations?
No.
Did you ever speak to President Biden about these investigations?
No.
I think Mr. Moskowitz has a question.
Thank you, Ranking Member. Do you know what the definition of retribution is? Webster's definition. It's a noun.
Off the top of my head, I do not.
If I proffered that it was exacting a punishment against someone, would that sound about right?
Yes, and yes.
Your lawyers lost their security clearance, is that correct?
Yes,
People who worked under you were fired, is that correct?
that's correct.
You're here today on a deposition that Sherman has brought you into, but I wouldn't give you a public hearing, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you see the comments by the President's Chief of Staff talking about retribution?
I did.
So, everyone was fired. You're here on a deposition. Your lawyers lost their security clearance. It seems like it meets not only the definition in Webster, it seems like this is exactly what Trump's Chief of Staff was talking about. No?
I have no doubt that the president wants to seek retribution against me. I have no doubt that that's the intent.
I don't want to put you off. In
Yeah.
fact, the exact quote was, he doesn't wake up thinking about it, but when there's an opportunity, he goes for it. I mean, this seems like an opportunity. Do you think the White House gave instructions to Chairman Jordan to set this deposition?
So I am eyes wide open that this president will seek retribution against me if he can. I know that. I don't, frankly, connect that with this hearing. I don't have any connection. I came here, I was asked to come
No, you
here.
think there were 0 conversations between the White House and Chairman Jordan?
I don't know, but I'm here in good faith, and I was asked to come testify. I
What's the
offered,
likelihood that there were less than 0 conversations between the White House and Chairman?
I'm not going to speculate on that. I will say I agree that this department wants to seek retribution against anybody who worked on cases against President Trump. I just don't have any evidence.
Why do you think
that
the chairman wouldn't give you a public hearing?
That's not for me to say.
I want to go back to your testifying that in every case you've ever brought, you've believed that there is proof beyond a reasonable doubt to demonstrate that the defendant is guilty. I'm not sure it would be even ethical to bring a case if you didn't have that belief. But is there anything inconsistent about having that belief that you can sustain the prosecutor's burden of showing beyond a reasonable doubt all of the elements of the crime are satisfied, and also wanting to see that constitutional due process is observed in the trial? Is there any conflict between those two?
I don't see one.
In other words, as a prosecutor, you go in with the belief that you can make your case, but you also want to make that case within the rule of law and within due process. And you've never experienced that as a problem, right? You've never wanted to trample the rules of due process in order to convict someone.
That's correct.
Okay. Mark, back to you. Over.
I just wanted to piggyback on something that Ms. Crockett brought up earlier, but are you familiar with Justice Manual 927-220?
You're going to have to give me more than the number, I think.
All right. So that provision basically states the condition with which a prosecutor can commence or recommend federal prosecution. And I can quote from that section for you. It says, prosecutor may commence or recommend federal prosecution only if he or she believes that the person will more likely than not be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by an unbiased trier of fact, and that the conviction will be upheld on appeal. So does that sound familiar to you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you follow this provision when you indicted President Trump in the election interference case?
Yes.
And did you follow that provision when you indicted President Trump and his co-conspirators? Oh, sorry, no, just President Trump in the classified documents case?
Yes.
And his co-conspirators? Did you
In
follow
that case, yes.
Okay. And the majority in their hour questioned you about why you included conduct that has not been found, that has not been brought forth before a trier of fact, right? That has not been proven in a court of law. But aren't you just essentially restating the standard that was that's stated in Justice Manual 927-220?
Yes, with our report, I wanted to explain my prosecutorial decisions, why we made them, the basis for them, and that's why we wrote the report the way we did.
Thank you.
In my last few minutes of our hour, please bear with me as I go through these next questions. There's a lot of inferences and accusations being made about your bias as a special counsel's office, and I want to make sure that we rebut these in the first hour. I think it's important too. So, did the Attorney General or any other DOJ official ever press you to be more aggressive in your investigation of President Donald J. Trump?
No.
Did the Attorney General or any other DOJ official ever suggest that you were expected to bring charges against President Trump?
No.
Did anyone from the White House, including President Biden, ever tell you they expected you to bring charges against Donald Trump?
No.
When you eventually did bring charges against Donald Trump, how did you make that decision? Walk us through it at a high level, if you don't mind.
Sure. It was based on the facts and based on the law. I ultimately made that decision, but I consulted with my team of prosecutors on that case, who were outstanding public servants, people with great experience in complex investigations. I took their advice and counsel in making that decision, and I tried to consider all factors, including both the strength of the case that we believed we had, possible defenses, all things of that nature.
So, which based on what you just said, it sounds like you made this prosecution decision based on the evidence in the law. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What would you have done if you felt any improper pressure from a DOJ official or the White House?
I think people who know me and have known my reputation would know that that would not end well. If someone tried to pressure me to move a case in one direction or the other where wasn't supported by the law, I wouldn't stand for it. And I would also say the people who worked in my office wouldn't stand for that either.
Yep, we're at our hour, so we'll end there. Thank you.